Oh, hello. My name is Emma. You might be wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses. Well, it's because today I am relaxing. Being an English teacher can be hard work, but today I want to relax. Well, let's relax together and let's also learn something today. So today we are going to learn some expressions about relaxing. I'm going to teach you 10 new expressions you can use to talk about relaxing. So get ready, sit back, relax, and let's learn together. The first word I want us to talk about is the word I just used, relax. So when we relax, it means we're not stressed out, we're not worried, we are enjoying ourselves, and we're resting. So, for example, how do I relax? Well, I relax by listening to music. I relax by watching TV. I relax by taking walks in my neighborhood. How do you relax? Well, we can also so I just used relax as a verb. Remember, a verb is an action word. We can also use relax as an adjective. An adjective is a word that describes something. So, relax as an adjective, we have two forms, relaxing with ing and relaxed with ed. Many learners find ing and ed adjectives really confusing, but let's look at this word for a moment and talk about it. So relaxing with ing describes something. It describes a situation or an object. So for example, I can say, the music is relaxing. Taking a walk is relaxing. Reading a book is relaxing. Swimming is relaxing. So notice all of these things are either situations or, objects that I used relaxing with. Well, when we use ed and we say relaxed, what that means is it means we're talking about our feelings, how we feel. So for example, I am relaxed right now. I feel relaxed. So this means I don't feel stressed. I feel calm. So this is the difference between relaxing, which is for situations or objects, versus relaxed. I am relaxed, which is for describing our feelings. So now let's look at some other examples of words we can use to relax. Okay, so another common expression we use to talk about relaxing is the expression, take it easy. This expression is common in music. There's a great Eagles song called Take It Easy where you can listen to this expression. So what does it mean, take it easy? Well, one meaning is it means to relax and to avoid hard work, to do very little. So when I take it easy, I don't do much. I relax, I rest. That's what I do when I take it easy. So let's look at an example of this in a sentence. This weekend, I'm taking it easy. So again, that means I'm not going to do hard work. I'm just going to rest and relax. There's another meaning for take it easy. We can also use it to mean goodbye. Some people in English will say, take it easy, and they mean goodbye. So, see you later, take it easy. It's a common way to say goodbye. Another meaning of take it easy is something you need to be careful of. Take it easy depending on how you say it, can also be a command for someone to calm down. So if someone is really angry and you say, "Oh, take it easy," you're telling them to calm down, which might work, but a lot of the times people, when they're angry, they don't want to hear "take it easy." So take it easy can mean the same thing as calm down, take it easy. So again, your voice matters. We often use take it easy when people are sick. So imagine Fred is sick this weekend. We might say, "Oh, Fred, I heard you're sick. Take it easy this weekend." Meaning rest. Don't do hard work. Take it easy. And here, I've used the same example. "I hear you're sick. Take it easy." So this is a great expression to learn, and it's very common in English. So it's a good one to remember. Okay, the next expression that also means relax is unwind. And I want you to pay careful attention to pronunciation here, because many students pronounce this as unwind, but the pronunciation is wind, unwind. So what does it mean to unwind? Well, like I said, it's relax. So let's look at some examples. How do I unwind? How do I relax? Well, I'm watching TV to unwind. I listen to music to unwind. I go for a walk to unwind. You might ask somebody else's question. What do you do to unwind? So what do you do to relax? Here's another example of the word unwind. She unwinds. So it's a verb. She unwinds by drinking wine. I like this last sentence because I think it can help you remember the pronunciation. When people drink wine, they unwind. Wine and wind have a similar pronunciation, so maybe that can help you remember how to pronounce this word. And unwind is common, again, in English conversation. You know, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I spent the weekend unwinding. You might hear people say that. Let's look at some other examples of relaxation expressions. All right. So the next word, chill, is very popular with younger people. This is not the kind of word my parents or grandparents will use. It's often used by teenagers or people in their 20s or maybe even 30s. So what does it mean to say chill? Well, chill is slang for relax. So for example, someone might say, this weekend, I'm chilling. Let's chill this weekend. I like to chill on the weekend. This means relax. And again, it's not used by older people. It tends to be used by younger people. We can also use chill, depending on our tone or our voice, to mean calm down. Just like take it easy, if we say chill, that means we're telling someone to calm down. And they might not take it in a good way. Chill, man, calm down. Or chill, take it easy. It means, relax because a person probably is mad or angry or upset.
Chill out.
You might also hear someone say, you need to chill. That means you need to relax. Again, it's all about the way you say things. So now let's look at our next word that has to do with relaxation. R and R. So if you hear someone say R and R, one of the meanings of this can be rest and relaxation, or rest and recreation, or rest and recuperation. It doesn't really matter what the second R is. The point of R and R is it means relaxing in your free time. So it's when we talk about R&R, we're talking about our free time we use to enjoy life and to relax. So how might we use this in a sentence? Well, R&R is a noun. So I'll give some examples. I might say, oh, summer is great. It's a great time for R&R. This means summer is a good time to relax. As simple as that. I can also say, oh, I'm getting a lot of R&R this week. This means I'm relaxing and resting this week. So this, again, it's slang, but you might hear someone talk about R&R, and that's what this means. Okay, so the next word or expression I want to look at is take a break or take a breather. Take a break and take a breather mean to take a short pause or to stop doing something for a short time in order to relax or to de-stress. So for example, we can also say just you take a break to stop doing something for a short time. When we use breather, it's usually more about stress. Take a breather usually means someone is stressed out. And if they take a breather, it means they're resting so they don't feel stressed. Take a break is more common. We use it more in our everyday English. If you say, oh, it's time for a break, let's take a break, that means let's stop doing what we're doing. Let's take a moment to rest and relax. Now, I just wanted to point this out. The verb we use with break in English is take. Take a break. In other languages, it might be do a break or make a break, but in English, we always use the word take a break. All right, let's look at a few more expressions to do with relaxation. All right, so we have 3 more expressions to go. The next expression is sit back or kick back. We can use either of these expressions. They mean the same thing. When you sit back or you kick back, it means you relax and you don't do much of anything. You rest. So for example, I'm going to kick back. Or if I want, I can say I'm going to kick back and relax. We use both of these. I can also say I'm going to sit back and relax. That's possible too. Let's kick back this weekend. Let's sit back and enjoy the show. So again, this means to just relax and to not do much of anything. The next expression is put my feet up. So when you put your feet up, it's an expression in English, and it means to sit and relax. English has many expressions for relaxation. You're probably noticing that right now. When we say put my feet up, let's look at some examples of this. We can say put your feet up. It's the weekend. So that means relax. Don't do anything. It's the weekend. After work, I put my feet up and watch reality TV. So this means after work, I sit and I relax and I watch reality TV. All right, so our next expression, our final expression, is an important one, recharge. Recharge or recharge our batteries is what we do when we rest in order to get energy back. So every day we have lots going on. Maybe we have children or work or school. And at the end of the day, it's important to recharge our batteries. This means it's important to rest and relax to get more energy. So this is how I would use this. Every year, I go on vacation to recharge. Or every year, I go on vacation to recharge my batteries. So, thank you for watching this video. We've talked a lot about relaxation. I'm going to tell you something that's not so relaxing for a moment, and then we'll go back to relaxing. You can take our test at www.engvid.com to practice the words you learned here. It's not relaxing. I hope you take it easy after the test and relax after you do that. Because remember, the best way to remember something is actually to test ourselves. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have many different videos on all sorts of different topics, from pronunciation to grammar to writing and vocabulary, and so much more. So thank you for watching. I am now going to unwind. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to recharge my batteries, kick back, relax, sit back, enjoy myself. So thank you for watching. And I hope you get some relaxation too. Until next time, take care.